How come that you became so knowledgeable on Bosnian War? From where this came from?
Well, I felt a great responsibility. I was a teenager, and as I've grown up and gone to many parts of the world, this was one that I felt nobody spoke enough about. This was such an important time for our world history. What happened here, the fact that the international community turned its back and abandoned these people for so long, is such a crime, and something we shall be ashamed of and learn from, and that we must show respect and remember. And I also feel the themes of the film are universal to so many issues happening today, and so I think. But when I started to learn and I started to research, I fell in love with the area, and I fell. I was so inspired by the survivors, and I think it's such an extraordinary country. And so I read a lot of books, I watched a lot of documentaries, I met with a lot of people, and then when the cast came together, they all had their own personal experiences, and they taught me, and so I just listened and I listened and I listened, and I just care so deeply. And so I think that I hope that that's seen in the film, that I really wanted to try to get it right, and I really came from and I learned so much. I just feel extremely moved and extremely connected to the people here, and I'm very, very grateful. I worked so hard to try to make what I felt was a good film, but also a film that I know was going to be so hard for people watching here, because it is their history and it's such a painful time in their history, and of course to do an artistic interpretation of somebody's life. You feel you can never do somebody enough justice, so you do your best, but you hope that you do good, and you hope you do enough, and you hope you did it right. And so I was terrified. I didn't know if I should go back after the movie. I said, I don't think I should go back out, because maybe they'll be angry, maybe they'll, I don't, so I was afraid to go back.
When you compare your directing and your acting experiences, which one you like better?
Directing. But I don't know if it's because of just being, it's not, I'm quite sure it's not about being a director, it's that I happen to direct a film about something I love and care deeply about, and I got to work with people who taught me so much about life, and watching this cast from all sides come together and become a family was so symbolic of everything that was lost during this war. And so I was moved by them, and they're just extraordinary artists. So it's also been fun for me to have people in Hollywood and New York talk about what talented artists there are from this part of the world, and so I'm very happy.
Actually, we are now 20 years away from war, and we are sitting in Holiday Inn, and this morning you bring together famous war journalists who were covering, international journalists who were covering war. What was the aim of that meeting?
Well, I had never, this was such a unique, when I was doing press for this film and I met with Tom and Christian Amanpour, and just every time I sit with somebody that covered this war, you realize how much this war changed them. It changed the way they viewed war, changed the way they viewed reporting. They all fell in love with this part of the world, but they also were very frustrated and very emotional. It's the first time I'd ever done interviews where I realized that it's not about interviewing me, it's about the person interviewing me knows more, is more connected, and this is very real for them. This was a part of their lives as well, and everybody really wants to see better things happen in this country. So I felt if we could all come together and sit around a table together and talk about the experiences and all that we have in common, but also start to work towards projects together and advise each other and listen to each other, then to me this meeting we had this morning was the beginning of, I think this group, we can continue to meet, we should continue to meet, and we can do a lot of good things together.